Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Lori.
All right, so we're here today to talk about the natal moon in Aries. And before we talk about Aries itself, let's talk a little bit about what the moon itself represents in the natal chart. So, first of all, the moon represents our emotional needs. It represents the core need of our life.
Mm-hmm.
And also, kind of on the flip side of that, is the ego challenge, the biggest ego challenge. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
necessary to know, kind of both the more positive and the harder side of your moon sign in order to know how to work with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else does the moon represent to you, Jenny?
Okay, I think the big one is mother.
Mm,
So you can sort of see how you view your own mother through your moon and your moon sign. It's also how you mother other people, how you mother yourself, your ability to nurture yourself.
mm,
So all things mother, you can get a lot of information from the moon about your mother.
yeah,
Um, and then the feminine in our culture, the more feminine aspects. And that's for everybody. This is not about being male or female. This is the femininity inside each of us. Um, yeah. And you
okay,
recently have been talking about the moon being our instinct and
yeah.
kind of being our instinctual self, like almost in the most kind of base way. I like that too.
Yeah, yeah. So when the last video we made, we talked about, and it's one of the ways I love to think about the moon is when when you're an adult and you go home to your family for Thanksgiving, everybody sort of goes into their kind of childhood instinctual nature, and what you see on display is you're a lot more apt to see the moon sign on display in those kind of gatherings because everybody goes to instinct. So in that kind of a view, what would you expect the Aries moon person to be doing at this gathering?
Oh my god, being pissed off. Or being assertive, like maybe,
Yeah,
in kind of being the leader, trying to take the lead on everything.
right. They're the one that
Yeah.
after dinner says, all right, we're all going out for a walk, after they've started the fight and then
Yeah.
ended the fight quickly.
That's
So
pretty
that kind of,
accurate.
yeah, and that kind of gets us, you would know, you do live with someone with an Aries moon, I believe.
Yes, it's true. Yeah,
uh,
very familiar.
yeah, so that kind of leads into what is the biggest ego challenge and the biggest ego struggle of the moon in Aries.
Mm. Oh, it's definitely that volatility and anger, frustration, combativeness.
And
That's when it's out of
selfishness.
balance. Yeah.
Selfishness too. I think,
Yeah.
the negative side of the Aries moon really goes into that infantile, the the baby screaming, demanding what they want when they want it. That's, Aries is the first sign. It's cardinal, it's fire, and it responds and reacts quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it can go into those places of anger very easily. So on a
Mm-hmm.
more highly evolved level, where does that moon take
Mm.
us?
Well, first of all, I want to say one of the nice things about the Aries moon when it is angry, it gets over it very quickly.
Yeah,
So if you have someone in your life with the Aries moon, just step back and give a little space, and in a couple minutes, everything will be right back to where it was, unless there's something else going on the chart that adds length to that. But that's a nice thing. But the Aries moon, it's leadership and courage, asserting themselves, independence. So it really is that person who's able to make that decision that needs to be made and move everything forwards, like
yeah,
keep it moving forwards.
yeah,
So and there's a warrior component to it. It's the idea of the pioneer, of doing something brand new and starting it fresh and putting a stake in the ground. And it's also the sign of the survivor. People have been through a lot of stuff and they just survive it. So
yeah. I often think, if you're in a dark alley and you hear creepy footsteps behind you, you want a big Aries piece in you or the person that's with you. Because there's, nobody's going to bother an Aries without getting the brunt of um, that determination, that courage, that ability to just step forth and take action where it's needed. In an emergency, Aries is pretty good energy to have around. for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that kind of covers that. Oh, I guess one other question is, if you have an Aries moon, how do you make yourself feel good?
Well, I think physical activity is great. Like you have to have an outlet for that fire,
Yeah.
and I always go to physical activity, but that could be something where you go outside and you ride your bike, but that also might be sex, you know. So
Right.
there's
Oh, yeah.
some way to, you know, put it somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. The Aries is
Yeah.
very much a physicality
Hmm.
in that, for sure. Okay. Are we ready to go to our example?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do that. I think this is the one that you chose to talk about.
Yeah, so this is the chart of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, up and coming Democrat Congresswoman. She's very young. I mean, she only turned 30 very recently, and she is quite honestly kicking ass and taking names. So it's kind of, and there you see that Aries moon down there in the fifth house. So this is her contribution. Her gift is what she's doing with that Aries moon. And you can't help but see right away it's right opposite from Mercury. So that she has to talk about what she's upset about. And she is going to talk to you about it. And in the 11th house, she's going to talk about it in
Yeah.
groups. And right next to the midheaven, talking to groups is going to be her career. So she is doing what she's supposed to be doing. And she was an upstart. She was not taken seriously, and she came in from behind, and through grassroots connection with people, that's how she got elected. And the incumbent Democrat that she had to run against didn't even see it coming. So she beat him in the primary, and that was that, because there's no Republican challenger.
Yeah,
But anyway,
well, he clearly
yeah,
hadn't seen her
yeah,
chart.
yeah. And then yep, here's the other piece. It's also squaring
Everything.
Uranus, Saturn, Neptune. Now, when you see those three slower moving planets together, that Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, that Laurie's drawn the three lines to, I like to think of that a little bit as that's the culture, because those are slow moving planets.
Yeah.
So her Aries moon is responding to what the culture is showing and doing something about it. And then squaring Jupiter makes everything big.
Yeah, and the squares
Yeah.
themselves, just, the fact that that moon is squaring all of these significant kind of social and planets,
Mm-hmm.
she has to take action. And the
Yep.
action, because it's Aries, the action she has to take is around her emotional response and using it with her voice in
Mm-hmm.
her career. Mars is up there. This is a really powerful chart.
Yeah, and yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Just that moon is it. Yep, she has to
Yeah,
do something about it. She can't leave it.
yeah,
So
that's
quite powerful.
fascinating.
And she's also, just one other personal note about her, is she was born in the Bronx, and she's Puerto Rican, but she also went to school in Westchester County. So she very much has an understanding of what it means to be from the Bronx, and also what it means to get a better education
Huh.
that's available when you live in a wealthier area. So she really knows a lot about how to bridge that gap.
Huh.
And so that's what she's doing,
That's
standing up,
interesting.
speaking truth. So
That's very
yeah.
interesting. Okay, I'm going to
Okay.
stop sharing that, and we are going to kind of cover a few other examples. Who else do you know that has a moon in Aries, Jenny?
Oh, geez, there's quite a few here. Let's see. We got Louis Armstrong. I know is a favorite of yours. Great musician. Marlon Brando. Jim Jones. What a kind of whack job that guy was. But anyway, Ellen DeGeneres, Jackie O, Jamie Lee Curtis, Mark Twain, Divine, Galileo. Let's throw that one in there. Who else?
Andy Warhol, Whitney Houston,
Hmm.
yeah, Galileo, Kamala Harris, Jennifer Lopez, Salvador Dali,
J-Lo.
Ellen DeGeneres, I think you said that, Jackie O, and yours truly, me.
And Laurie Farrington, my favorite astrologer. Yes.
Yeah, Aries moon is not for the faint of heart, but it's a it takes some figuring out how to get out of the selfishness of it. That's what
Oh,
I have to say about
but
it.
boy, she can
But
get it done. Let me tell you.
yeah, yep. Yeah, I'm grateful for it. So I think that
Right.
kind of covers Aries Moon, unless there's something else you want to say.
No, I think we're in good business.
All
So
right. Okay. So thank you very much, Jennie, and we'll keep doing these videos.
sounds good. Thanks,
Thank
Lori.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanks,